Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. And this is a review of the Blu-ray of My Bloody Valentine, which I know is like almost a year overdue. I just haven't had time to actually sit down and watch it all the way through. But now I have. Now this came out on Stream Factory pretty early in the year, and what was nice about it, number one, I like the look of this cover. A lot of people don't, but I think it looks rather cool. And then you do have the original cover, which that's a cover I always remember being freaked out when I was a kid. I remember going to, it was a grocery store which had VHS tapes for rental, and I would see this like this far away, and I went, what the fuck is that? There was that and a film called The Being. Like those two films, like what the fuck? Like their covers creeped me out when I was a kid. I mean, can you blame me? Look at that. Which is interesting because in the movie you don't see the person's eyes, but definitely effective for a cover. And like I said, I do like this cover. Not a lot of people don't, but I think it's a really good painting. That's the best way I would put it. It's a good painting. I think it fits. Now, as for the Blu-ray itself, I mean, I love the film. It's one of my favorite slasher films. I love the mine setting. I think it's very claustrophobic and gritty, and I love just a really cool look to the whole thing. I love the gore, especially now that we have a uncut version that's cleaned up. The gore is spot on, fantastic. Some really good kills. I like the actors. Paul Kilman, Neil Affleck. They worked well with each other. They seem like regular folks. Yeah, Canadian folks. Nothing wrong with that. And they just felt natural in their verbiage with each other, and I did not think they were bad at all. I thought there was actually not too, they tried to do something with, there's this little love triangle, and that's more than I could say for a lot of slasher films that did. There's a lot that don't do jack shit. At least just try to do something, and it moved at a good pace. I love the look of the killer. It's a very striking image, and moments like when he's breaking each of the light bulbs, and I love the look of the town. This almost blue-collar, run-down town, and the whole mine facility. It's 81 when it came out, so it still has that, I don't want to say dangerous look, but it still has that rough enough look. It's not too pretty, not too photorealistic. I don't know, there's a certain feel that, even though it's 81, that early 80s almost had that, still that 70s. I miss films with that certain look and color and grain and image that to me brings a little almost authenticity to it. Almost makes me think maybe people should get a fucking film and get the same actual quality and make a movie. So it might not be photorealistic, but would give it, again, a certain character. Maybe I'm alone in that. Even, you know, the end song, the Ballad of Harry Warden, it's very catchy. Just, you know, the kills, the shower scene, pickaxe that goes out through the fucking eye. This has a lot of stuff going for it. Now, as for the Blu-ray, it's a 2-disc. Disc 1 is the theatrical version, which, why would we want, I mean, I asked this question before, and someone said, well, there are people that watch the theatrical because it's the version they grew up on. That's true, I grew up with it too, but to me, when you watch a slasher film, you want to see the bits with the gore, and so to me, I'll only watch the uncut version, but that's just me. Now, disc 1, like this is the theatrical, it has a trailer, TV spots, radio spots, still gallery, comparison between the theatrical and uncut. And disc 1 I will have to keep because it does all the features on. And there's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 interviews. And I'll be honest, the features I thought was kind of disappointing. I will be fair. Well, I'm not being fair. Fuck fair. I'm not gonna say they suck ass, but they're not. I would say the interview with George Mahalko, 25 minutes. That's definitely one of the better ones, where he tells about the original script that was called The Secret, his battles with the MPAA. He was influenced by Black Christmas. Other people interviewed, Paul Kilman, who's got a big beard now. That's 15 minutes long. Neil Affleck, who played Axel, he's 15 minutes long. Laurie, who plays our female lead, that's 19 minutes long. Helen Udy, she's the girl that just picked up and impaled on the shower head. That's 19 minutes long. 17 minutes long, her interview. And then Tom Berman, who played that girl's boyfriend, okay, learn how to read, Matt. Tom Berman is the effects guy. That's 10 minutes long. And then Rob Stein, he's the guy who plays the boyfriend of the girl who gets her head impaled. He's 27 minutes long. So yeah, about 7 interviews. One of the things they do that I thought was rather lazy is they will put up a cue card to ask questions. And a lot of times they will ask these 7 people the same fucking questions. Not all of the questions are the same, and not all the time they do that, but a lot of times, like almost each person they asked, did you know that Axel was the killer at the end? And George Mahalker is the first guy, and he says, no one knew. We didn't have the last couple pages. We did that to people to keep them on edge, keep the mystery going. Boom, that answered your question. Why the fuck did you ask every other person that question? I have no idea. That's what I mean, the laziness of that. Or, what was TJ doing on the West Coast that he failed at? Who gives a shit? Did anyone fucking give a shit as to what Paul Kilman's character TJ, what was he doing out west that he failed at? Who gives a shit about that? And each one's asked about the conditions in the mine, which makes sense. But it didn't have a natural flow of an interview, because you had these title cards and then almost the same fucking questions. So a lot of times you get almost the same fucking answers. Why is it that Scream Factory, and yes, I do bust their balls a lot, because not many people do. A lot of people say Scream Factory, they go A+. You didn't even open the case yet. I don't care, but it's A+. You didn't even open up the package. I know, but it's A+. Will you look at it? No, I don't. I looked at it, see? Actually put it in and watch? No, it's A+. Plus. I don't do that. You may think I'm wrong, but I'm going to give my opinion. And I don't understand why Scream Factory doesn't do documentaries like they used to. They used to, if you watch it for Halloween 2 and Halloween 3, they actually did a documentary where they put all of these people in the one fucking thing. And they put, music and pictures and photos. So it's like 20, 30, 40 minutes long. Boom. Done. They don't do that anymore. Unless I'm not seeing the ones they do it for. Because the ones I've seen, not peers. And that's why I didn't get the April Fool's Day Blu-ray. Well, that's not the only reason. There's many reasons why I didn't get that, even though I love the film. But the features look fuckload disappointing. At least here, you get the uncut version cleaned up in 4K that looks beautiful. That's the reason to get this. Which I'll get to that. That is the sole reason to have this. At least for me. And they did a great job with that, to be fair. And if there's one thing I wanted them to get right, it was that. And I gotta give credit. So I would say at the end of the day, no matter what I say, it's worth it for that. But just with the interviews, just like you go to Paul Kilman, What was TJ doing out west? I'm like, they already answered this fucking question. The director answered it. Each one is asked about Alf Humphreys, who sadly passed away. Only one person they asked about Keith Knight. It seemed they only asked Paul Kelman about Keith Knight. Unless I missed something, but... So that was just irritating to me. I just think a lot more could have been gathered. And like Tom Berman, the effects guy is 10 minutes long. You would think of the effects guy, it would be a lot longer where he's really getting into the intricate details of the death scenes. He really doesn't. He really doesn't talk about how each of these death scenes were done. Which I don't understand. He's the effects guy. But it's more about getting the job, working in Canada. At one point he was in some show, and during the Clinton years, when movies were going up to Canada, and I don't know, it's just something about that. How he doesn't really like body count movies. But again, he doesn't really go into detail on how he did each of the death scenes. I don't understand that. So that I thought was the most disappointing interview. Also, they don't carry over the features from the old DVD. Yes, it merged with the remake, which that's probably why. But on that DVD, there were little nuggets of information you would get. Like, there are deleted scenes that you play separately, but then it'd be like an intro, and there's like a little info here about the effect, or info about this and that, as well as the featurette where half of it was the people who made the first film. So that's one reason to keep that old DVD if you have it and not throw it away, because it's not carried over on this. Like the Paul Kelman interview, 15 minutes. If you wonder why I'm looking over here, I had to write some of it down. Answer some of the same questions. Some stupid questions like, why didn't you dive in the water to go after your friend Axel? And he said what I thought, because he would have fucking died. Like, again, were these the questions that Street Factory came up that people were really wondering about? Why didn't he dive in the water? What was he doing in the West? Like, it's not the questions I've ever asked. But I mean, I guess I'm alone in that. But he talks about working in the mines, and his favorite kill is the shower bit. How he didn't know anything about the film until he was getting friend requests on Facebook. Neil Affleck, 15-minute interview. Again, working in the mines. One of the things they kept asking people, why was there a boom of independent horror film in the 80s? And they all give the same answer, money. Because they threw money. So that's what I mean, you're wasting our time asking these people the same question, and they're giving you the same answer. You know, Axel, did you know at the end? Why was there a boom of horror films in the 80s? Oh, money, 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 money. Oh, they threw money. Like, what the fuck? It was... So, to me, the interviews... And that's what... Street Factory dropped the ball on that. April Fool's Day, especially so. Which, again, that's why I didn't get that fucking Blu-ray. Because I'd be pissed spending $30 on that bullshit. You know I love April Fool's Day. But, again, that's just me. Neil Affleck, again... He at least there's a fun bit where he talks about how, you know, his daughter watching the film when she was older. But this thing, like, you should take those nuggets here and there and make them all to a 20-25 minute, and it would be faster, more concise, and less filler, less repeated answers over and over again. Lori, she gets 19 minutes. Oh, a lot of them did ask about the remake. And either they didn't see the remake, or they saw it and they didn't like it. but most of them didn't even see the, well, like the director saw it and you could tell he didn't like it. Paul Dillman did not see it. Neil Affleck, he saw it, but he thought we did a lot better job with the mining sequences, which I agree with. Lori, she didn't see the remake. I don't know if I don't think the others saw it either. Helene Udy, 17-minute interview, worked with the director, shooting on location, how they did the shower scene, how she'd had a body cast made, where she got the body cast made. Apparently that was the place where David Bowie got it before, where she got the body. David Bowie had to have something made for the man who crashed to Earth. The man from another, I forgot what the hell the David Bowie movie was called. I haven't seen it, but you know, that was interesting. The Tom Berman, the effects guy, to me that was a waste of an interview, to be blunt. There's really nothing I learned from it. He didn't really go into details on how he did the death scenes. Like, how did he do the scene with the like, he didn't really go into detail. He kind of, one of them did on the other DVD, but it's not on this. Rob Stein, 27 minutes. He was honestly one of the better ones because he seemed really into it. He talked about being in George Malhotra's previous film, Pinball Summer. Seems like a good guy. He's tearing up at the loss of his friends like Alf Humphreys. He tells this story about he accidentally cut himself sharpening something for a sculpture, and how he had to do the shower scenes with the others, and how it only had to be cold water for particular reasons. How he's one of the few that has the original script in pristine condition. Like, his interview was good. I liked him. He seemed like a good guy, and I don't know. He was definitely the most interesting of the interviews. So the interviews, to me, in a way, after so long, pretty disappointing. It's pretty disappointing. Like, when you watch the interviews and then you sit back, you go, what did I really learn from them? Not much. On disc 2, really, that's the better stuff. Number 1, the 46-minute Q&A. Pretty decent. I wish more of the people talked. It seems like most of the time it's George Malhotra talking. But what about the guy who played the killer? You know, hear from him. Because it wasn't Neil Affleck. It was... Why was he not interviewed? You would think the guy who played the killer... Why wasn't he interviewed? Is he still with us? I don't know. But yeah, the Q&A was pretty fun. About 46 minutes long. It's from a few years ago when Alf Humphreys was still alive. He's the guy who plays sort of the comic relief character. You also get commentary with the director, which is pretty decent. It's definitely a nice set of a wealth of information during his commentary. I do wish there's a guy who keeps asking stuff, but he's so far off that we can barely fucking hear him. So he's talking like, you know, from far away from the mic. It's like, just get to the fucking mic and be a moderator. Stop asking questions. He's asking questions over here. Like, get to the fucking mic then, buddy. But other than that, you know, that's a pretty decent commentary. But the best part is the 4K. You know, the 4K uncut version, it looks fairly seamless. Now, they were not able to find every bit of footage. I mean, the uncut you see here is the uncut you saw on the previous DVD. I just meant, for when the film was originally made, when this couple died, the killer had this big screw, and you actually saw him. Kind of like what happened in Friday the 13th Part 2 with the spear. Only this killer did with like a big drill screw. It would impale it to this couple that were having sex. in the mines. You only see the aftermath in the film. There is a still picture on the image gallery, so they did shoot it, but yeah, that's gone. A few little snippets here and there from when they originally shot it, but they got most of it back in, and again, it looks fantastic when it's cleaned up, and it looks seamless with the rest of the movie. So the fact that they were able to do that, despite my issues with the interviews, which I don't know if I ever listened to the interviews again. Honestly, maybe Rob Stein, because he seems like a good guy. Maybe George Mahalka, but having the uncut version and the gore scenes seem very just seamless, pretty much seamless. That is an A+ effort for me. I would say that. That is worth the buy itself. If you love the film, you like the uncut, you want to see it more seamless with the rest of the movie, this is the one to get. So that it was worth it for that. And I give credit to Scream Factory for that, to be fair. I'll give Scream Factory credit when I feel like it. That's one instance that I will. So that's my thoughts on My Bloody Valentine, the Blu-ray. Thanks for watching. Take care. We will see you guys later. Bye-bye.